Housing prices are out of this world, and for a lot of first-time home buyers, it's a daunting task to accomplish home ownership. Well, there may be a way for you to do that by purchasing a condo. But there's some pros and cons to that, and I'm going to get into those right now. Hey everybody, Dietric Williams, realtor with Compass, Baldwin Hills, California. Welcome to another edition of Info on the Go, the show where I give tips, tricks, and insight on how to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in Southern California. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that bell so that you're notified every time I upload new content to YouTube. First, let me just preface this by saying that condominium doesn't denote the structure of the property. It really comes down to the ownership interest, and that's really what a condo is. It's a privately owned unit in a community of units. In other words, you are one owner amongst many. And what you pay for is not just your ownership interest, but interest in common areas such as gym, pool, rec room, garages, things like that. Now, with living in a condo, there are some pros and some cons. So let's get into each. And the first pro that I'm going to talk about is affordability. Now, the price tag for living in a condo is typically lower than living in a single family residence. The average 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in LA, the city of LA, cost about $786,000 versus $1.05 million for a single family dwelling. Condos typically also have lower utility bills, as HOAs tend to cover things like trash and water. Now, that could be a real money saver if there's no washer and dryer inside of the unit, so you could save a ton of money on your utility bills by purchasing a condo. Also, homeowners insurance typically tends to be a little bit lower. This is because the Condo Association master policy covers things like damage to the building and outdoor and common areas, which leads me to my second pro. You aren't responsible for a lot of the maintenance that happens outside of your unit. So things like mowing the grass, trimming the hedges, cleaning out the gutters, shoveling snow if you live in some place that has snow, things of that nature. Sometimes the Condo Association will also cover things like HVAC, which is your heating and air conditioning, your plumbing, and possibly your electrical. So if you're single, or you're somebody who likes to travel a lot, or maybe you're a little bit older, or just somebody who doesn't want to have to deal with all that maintenance, a condo could be the way for you to go so that you don't have to get involved with taking care of any of that stuff using your own sweat and blood. The next pro is availability. Now, there seems to be more supply of condos than there are of single family dwellings right now, and that trend has really taken off since the start of the pandemic, and it really springs from people recognizing that they didn't have enough space to work from home, homeschool, or just enjoy recreational activities without suffering cabin fever. Now, these are just a few of the pluses to condo living, but as they say, all that glitters is not gold. So let's talk about some of the cons of condo living. One of the biggest drawbacks to condo living is the rules and regulations that you have to adhere to. So when you purchase a condo, they're going to give you something called Covenants, Conditions, and Restrictions, or CC&Rs. These are legally binding documents that really outline the parameters of what you can and cannot do within the association or within the community. For example, if you want to renovate your bathroom or your kitchen or put in hardwood floors, the association is going to want to see plans from a licensed and certified contractor, and they're going to have to approve these plans before you can proceed. If you do so without permission, you will be in breach of contract, and you could be subject to fine, you could be subject to being sued, or they can put a lien or a foreclosure on your unit. The next con is privacy. So similar to apartments, you may have shared walls, and it can feel like going from renting to owning, but yet still feel like you're renting. So suppose the person above you has children or is a little bit heavy-footed. You may hear that jumping or stomping all throughout the day or night. Or suppose the neighbors on either side of you like to play their music loud or have parties. That may disrupt your sleeping habits if you're somebody who either works at night and needs to sleep during the day, or just wants to sleep at night and your neighbors love to party all night. So just keep this in mind, that when you purchase a condo, it's not only just the condo, but you want to think about where in the complex you're going to purchase it at. Is it going to be on the top floor where you may not hear all of that stuff or have a little bit more privacy, or you're going to be in the middle or bottom floors where your privacy can definitely be a point of contention between you and a neighbor. Another con is those dreaded HOA fees. Now, while it may seem like a great thing that you don't have to pay for a new roof, plumbing, water, or mowing the grass, those things come at a price, and they're going to be wrapped in a monthly fee, your HOA fees. So yeah, you're still going to pay for it, even though you don't necessarily have to pay to get that stuff done. Just keep in mind that what happens inside the four walls of your unit typically are on your dime. So if there is a leak in your plumbing that's coming through your unit, you may have to pay for it. And if there's damage to a unit that's below you or on the sides of you, you may also have to cover that damage as well. Furthermore, if the HOA doesn't have strong reserves to cover big ticket items like a main plumbing line leak or a new roof, they may assign each homeowner a special assessment. That means that they're going to bid out for whatever it takes to get that repair done, and they're going to charge each homeowner a monthly assessment until that bill can get paid. That's on top of your regular HOA fees. Now, while I'm talking about HOA fees, I always advise my clients, if you're going to purchase a condo, you want to get involved with the HOA board, or at least go to the monthly meeting so that you are aware of anything that comes up. One of the things I hear a lot from people is the board will assign a special assessment and they say, wait a minute, where did this come from? I didn't know. Well, had you gone to the meetings, you would have known that this was on the docket. So if you want to have control over that and say yes or no, or vote against or for something, just get involved in the HOA board, or again, at least go to the meetings. Another con is financing. So keep in mind, when you go to get pre-approved for a mortgage, typically you're getting pre-approved for a single family home. For example, I have a client who got pre-approved for $400,000 for a single family home. However, when we started looking at condos, her pre-approval number dropped from $400,000 to $340,000, and that's based on a $325 a month HOA fee. So for every $100 in HOA fees, her purchasing power dropped by nearly $20,000. So you just want to keep that in mind, that if you're going to purchase a condo, the financing for condo and single family dwellings is going to be different. You are going to lose some purchasing power, and it's really going to be dependent on how much those monthly HOA fees are. Now, those are the pros and cons of purchasing a condo, but what about a house? And for this sake, I'm defining house as single family residence, or what we call SFR for short. And typically it's when the owner owns the parcel, nobody else can build on the land, or at least they're not supposed to. I won't get into eminent domain or anything like that. Typically these structures have one kitchen, and I'm not counting the kitchen in an ADU or what we call a casita or granny flat. You typically have access to the main street, so there's no lobby or shared community areas, like you're not sharing yard space with anybody. Now, I'm not talking about those places where there's no fence, but they're supposed to be. So I'm talking about places where you actually share the community property. So in a house or a single family dwelling, you typically don't have that. So one of the biggest pros about this is freedom. So unlike a condo, if you want to change something within the house, if you want to make an addition or renovation, typically you're free to do that. Now, you will have to go get permits from the city in order to do that, but you have the option to doing that without somebody saying, yes, I approve of this. Now, if you do go get permits from the city, you're gonna have to get it inspected so that they make sure that everything is up to code. But typically, if you do the stuff that you're supposed to do, this shouldn't be a problem. Another pro, I just kind of talked about that briefly, is you don't have to share common walls. So you're not gonna be sharing common space like your yard. You won't have people that are on the sides of you or above you or beneath you. And for a lot of condos, those walls can be very thin. So in a single family home, you don't have that. So you won't have people hearing everything you do. And I do mean everything you do. As far as the cons go, I would say the biggest con to purchasing a home is the cost. Now, I talked about this earlier, that the cost of owning a home versus a condo is a lot higher, but that's not the only cost that you're gonna have. So in the condo, you have HOA fees that are going to cover your maintenance and all these other things. Well, as a homeowner, you're responsible for all that stuff. So you need a new roof, maybe $40,000. You need to replace your plumbing, maybe an additional $20,000 to $30,000. All of these things are going to come out of your pocket. You will be responsible for any and every repair that needs to be made with the house. Another con is property taxes. Now, condos and single family dwellings are taxed at the same rate that's determined by the city that they're in. However, because single family homes cost more, the value is more, you typically pay higher property taxes when you are a single family dwelling homeowner. Now, those are the pros and cons of purchasing a condo versus a house. And when I say house, I'm talking about single family residence or single family dwelling. Which is best? Well, it really depends on you. It's all about your lifestyle and your budget. If you're somebody who is financially capable of purchasing a home in Los Angeles or wherever it is that you are, then I would say go for it. But if you don't like to do maintenance and cover the cost of all of those things, and you feel that purchasing a condo is more in line with your lifestyle and budget, I would say go for it. So there's really no right or wrong answer. It really just depends. But if you're looking for a condo or townhome community, you should check out this video I did on 4 gated communities in Inglewood, California. However, if you're looking for a single family dwelling that's still affordable, you might want to check out this video that I did right here on Gardena.